Hey, golf fans, and welcome back to another PGA Tour 2K23 video. And today we are back with Meet the Designer, and I am delighted to announce that Bbusbri08, aka Brian from Las Vegas, it is Brian, is it? You are from?
From Reno, Nevada.
Oh, okay, sorry, but you currently live in Las Vegas now, though, yeah?
Los Angeles.
Oh, Los Angeles. Where am I getting Las Vegas? There we go, guys. Great start to the video. But really
Close
pleased to
enough.
have Brian on the channel. He is a fantasy themed golf course specialist, and his designs of late just keep getting better and better. But while we chat golf, we are going to showcase probably the best course he has designed to date, in my opinion, and that is the Samurai. So good luck, Brian. Let's tee off. We are playing a skins match on master difficulty, and once Brian readies up, we will be showing the Samurai. Like I said, probably your best course in the game to date, Brian. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I think so. Definitely one of the few courses where I was able to just design without any kind of limitations because, for those who have played my courses, they know that I usually do something based off of like a franchise or something, but I got kind of hit a dead end with that for a little bit and just wanted to do something where I wasn't limited by, familiarity and just
Yeah. So
pull
where
something
did
straight out
your
of my head.
where did the inspiration for the Samurai come from then? If you said you're normally a franchise because I've played wow a lot of your golf courses like Star Wars, the Batman, Blade Runner, to name a few. But like you said, this samurai is not based on any franchise or theme. So where did your inspiration for this golf course come from?
Yeah, I've always, when the game kind of released the Asian theme pack, I always kind of wanted to do something, with all that kind of architecture and color, like the colors especially, but saw this Japanese painting um, with like the snowy mountains and like the colorful trees and water, and I just kind of wanted to do something. You can see kind of what here on the first hole, it's basically just that painting that I kind of saw and wanted to replicate throughout a whole golf course.
Yeah, I mean I keep saying it in my course showcases, but the first hole for me is really important to catch the player's attention. There's quite a lot of courses that I've played, went to play, and I've stepped onto the first tee and just felt nah. But you really capture, like you say, you're painting the color pop on this opening hole is nothing short of remarkable. It really is beautiful.
Yeah, that's kind of the nice thing about, doing a course that's not based on anything is I didn't have to, limit myself with how I plan it or
Yeah, stick
anything
to a
like
theme.
that.
Yeah, you've just got to let
Yeah,
your creative juices flow.
yeah, I might have to do some practice.
No, take your
I'm
time, pal. Yeah, take your time,
I'm
mate.
here to make a mess of my own course. This is actually kind of interesting because I don't think I've ever gone back and played a course of mine after I published it. So,
Wow. So it's a first.
yes,
Sounded a good
sir.
strike. Avoid that bunker. Should kick right. Members bounce. Designer's kick there. That's what we call a designer's kick. But one thing I have noticed with your courses, Brian, is you have a lot of detail in them. Like there's a lot of things going on in your courses, and a couple of the courses, I just felt to myself and thought to myself is how on earth do you stay within the plant meter on some of these courses? Have you got any tips and tricks on how to have a lot of detail and objects in your course, but you're sticking within the plant object meter?
Yeah, what you see here on like the first hole, usually the way I start my courses is I just kind of tinker around with the first hole just to see if it works. If the theme works, if the color works, if, I'm trying to capture anything specific with maybe more of a links course or maybe something simple, but it's always with the first. hole. And then once I know that that works, then I'll go through and I kind of frame and shape the rest of the course, but I don't plant anything until I have at least like 9 or 10 holes. It's
Why?
for me, it's always focus on the golf first, kind of make sure I have a playable course and something that's exciting for me,
Yeah,
because if it's not working on that level, then it's not worth kind of planning and starting the rest of the process. So I always just kind of lay out a track of about 9 holes first before I even start to put in all the color and the trees and the planting and the even the shaping of the land.
yeah,
Um,
that's really interesting to know that. I think you're one of the first designers I've spoke to that has used that method. Um,
yeah, and I think that's, you know, as long as I that first hole starts to work and I can capture what I have in my head, then that's kind of like the green light for me to go ahead and design the rest of the course.
yeah,
In real life, what I do for a living, I'm a storyteller. I'm a writer, so it's kind of the same thing. If something's not working, and it just doesn't feel right, then it's not worth kind of just plowing through. And so I think even watching the last guy, DR Golf Designs that you talked to, he was kind of, reiterating the same kind of sentiment where you design maybe like the first hole or whatever, but if you're not feeling it, then you kind of ditch it. But
yeah.
the ones that do work get you really excited, and then you just get hooked on designing it.
And I'm actually not surprised to know that you're like a story. So you're like kind of do you write stories for a living?
Yeah, I do. I work in film and TV.
That doesn't
Um,
surprise me, by the way, judging by your courses. And um,
I really wanted to hit that in the water to show you guys how good I am at placing water.
yeah, just wanting to show off the whole course.
Yeah,
But yeah, that really doesn't surprise me that you're a creative person away from the golf course design. And
yeah, and
on
there's
that,
actually
no, sorry, on you go, Brian. On you go, take the floor.
well, it's funny because this course is actually based on a story. I don't know if anybody picked that up, but the kind of story of this whole course is that um, a young Japanese woman has her family kind of killed and her village destroyed by this like kind of dark, ancient, mysterious samurai, and she kind of goes on a journey to find this and avenge them. And all she has to go off of is a flower that this person left behind.
Wow,
So, I mean, it's subtle. You don't see a whole lot of it, but that's just kind of what was going on in my head when I designed this course.
that is insane, mate. So that basically this golf course, each each hole is telling a story.
Right, yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's
kind of,
incredible because I can't recall what hole it's on. There's like a big monster thing you've got going on in this course, out
yeah, and
with the
that's kind of
samurais
like
as well.
yeah. And I'll point it out as we go along, but
Yeah, anything on the course that you feel you want to talk about, just feel free to interrupt me or change the subject we're on because I am really astonished that you've came out with that because certainly I didn't something I never knew about. So I think that's absolutely remarkable. Really
yeah, and it's
impressed with that.
just kind of one of those things where I obviously didn't expect anybody to pick up on it, but just one of the things that as I'm designing it, it just kind of lets me tell a story in my own kind of way as
Yeah,
we go.
and I think that just backs up what I was saying before. I mean, you're such a creative designer, and you've got a big course portfolio. And like I say, I've played a lot of your courses now, and I can see you're improving as a designer with every single course. And like I said, I think this is the best course that you've designed to date is the samurai. Some of the things you've achieved in this course, I'm like, how's he done that? like the big samurai statue that just. I think that's the seventh hole, if I recall. I could be wrong, but how on earth you've captured that? But talking about the designer, Brian, what is the most agonising, stressful part of designing a golf course for you within the game?
Yeah, that's tough. I mean, there's a couple of things. I always find the beginning to be the hardest, honestly. Just trying to capture what I'm kind of envisioning in my mind and then just getting the overall look of it with the weather, the lighting, the clouds, the colors, the shaping, because like most designers, we start with just a blank map, and like everything you see on this course is built, you know, you start with just the landscape and yeah, so right here you actually see the young woman who's sort of becomes the samurai here. That's what that statue is behind the green.
That's incredible because I just assumed that that was a samurai with a sword behind her the first time, But now you've pointed it out that it's a Japanese woman. I mean, yeah. So feel free to tell us the story, Brian, as we navigate our way through this golf course. And that's some shot, by the way. Really good shot.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, that's kind of her sort of, you know, beginning her journey, kind of taking the sword and kind of starting out here. But yeah, no, this hole's kind of interesting because there is a shortcut off the tee to the left, which I have seen some people come across. It makes it a lot more approachable, but
Ah, okay,
with
I
the
missed
right
that. And
wind.
did you, I take it you never played it there either? No,
No,
no.
not right now, but with a helping wind, I mean, you can hit the green with like a iron shot.
Oh, wow. How on earth have I missed that? Because I'm normally pretty good at mapping my way around the course. Can't
Yeah.
believe I've missed that. Something I will have to go back and search for. Oh, I've left that one short. Chance for the designer here to pick up the first skin with an eagle.
Yeah, this is when I get to find out how cruel I was.
Yeah, a player
Always fun
getting his
because
revenge on a designer.
in real life, I'm a lot better golfer than I am a golfer in PGA. So
Ah, so what's your handicap in real life then, Brian?
about a two or
Ah,
three.
well, there you go then, mate. You must be a very talented golfer. What's
Yeah.
your local course?
Well, unfortunately, Los Angeles has some pretty bad public golf. If you're, oh wow, that's poor. Um, there's a lot of great courses in LA, obviously, like Riviera and Bel Air Country Club, Los Angeles Country Club. But unless you got 500 grand to fork out a year,
Yeah, yeah.
tough to play those. So I mostly play when I go home. I'll play courses back home. I grew up kind of in the mountains, the high desert, so there's a lot of mountain courses I grew up playing.
That's cool. And have you got? Are you a member at any of these courses? And have you actually played the Riviera? No.
I have not, no. I think even if you know somebody, the green fee's about 500 bucks. So
Why? Yeah, expensive. That's quite a. The courses you've named there are pretty exclusive, aren't they? Really?
yeah, a funny story. There's actually one in Burbank, and when I first moved to LA, you know, the course I was playing at a lot had mat driving range, which I'm not a fan of, and so I saw that one of the country clubs has a grass driving range down the street from me, and I actually called the office one day and asked them if they offered practice memberships, and the lady laughed at me and hung up. So,
Wow. There you go. Eh? It's
yeah, you
great to
gotta
get
be,
to know you away from the PGA Tour 2K23 side of things as well. Um, and what was your thought process on this hole here, Brian? Because there's a lot going on here. It looks like floating houses and waterfalls. What part of the story is this telling?
yeah, so this is just for the next few holes, it's just sort of the journey part across like
Right.
the landscape. And this, I honestly can't remember where this kind of came from. I think it just kind of popped into my head, and it was just a matter of, a lot of the times when I do the theme courses, it's a really fun challenge for me to be like, oh, can I make Jabba the Hutt, or can I make a Millennium Falcon out of just rocks, or whatever sort of building materials are left sort of to work with. That's
Yeah.
like a really fun kind of challenge. And so with this, it was just, I had this idea of just all these houses and this kind of greenery hanging from the rocks and water kind of cascading down some of it. And so just started tinkering with it. And that's honestly like how a lot of holes go, especially on these courses where I'm just free to design whatever I want, is it just starts with an idea and then you just tinker, and if it works, then you go with it.
Well, it's certainly very picturesque. That's for sure. But speaking about, you touched upon it there, and we have said it at the start of the video that the majority of your courses are franchise or theme courses. So, how much research do you put into your course designs? Because, like I say, lots of your courses are themed, franchise based. So, I'd imagine you need to have a good knowledge of the courses that you're designing for the theme subject.
Oh, I don't know how that came up that short. Yeah, I mean, I've obviously kind of like seen all the movies and stuff. I don't think there's really anything that I might have to lay up here. Or we're gonna send it. We're gonna see if we get one of these designer friendly things here.
Yeah, a designer bounce.
That just went straight up.
I
My
thought we were going
course
to
is
see a
updated.
bit of course knowledge there, but sadly,
Yeah.
the rough just kills you there. Because it's quite a tough course, this actually, Brian. I
Yeah, I
felt that
mean,
the first time I played it. I mean, once if you're not hitting fairways in this golf course, you're in a world of pain,
yeah, that was
as you're
kind of like
seeing
the
here.
idea. Yeah, I gotta lay up again. Punch it down here. I mean, as I've kind of gone on and I've watched people, it's always fun to watch people play your courses online, but when you see them going like 12, 13 under, you start to want to just add some more difficulty to the designs, and
Yeah. So is that disheartening seeing a player shoot that kind of score around your course?
not necessarily, it's more educational. It's more to like finding out like, oh, okay, that landing point on the fairway isn't as punishing as I thought it would be, or the greens aren't as punishing as I thought they might be to, some players. Because you never want to make the course, golf, like I said, I grew up in a golfing family. I'm a golfer, so that element's really important to me. I don't want to put like a 10-foot mound in the middle of a green or
Yeah.
do something crazy. Like the golf is the most important thing, and so I
So so
want,
when so when you're designing a golf course, your first thought is not let's make this difficult and defend par. Your first thought is I want the golfer to enjoy the golfing experience in this golf course.
yeah, I want them to be punished for a bad shot, not a good shot.
Yeah, yeah, I fully
And
understand that.
so, yeah, I mean, there's nothing worse than in real life when you put a shot like pin high and then it just rolls, 50 yards off the green. And
Get in.
so, yeah, I mean, you don't want to make it to the point where, people don't want to come back and play it because they're, getting frustrated, but you also want a challenge there so that they do come back and want to improve the score.
Yeah, that's actually really good to know because
Oh,
it's all
nice putt.
about a lot of guys who I've spoken to who are designers, and everyone's different, and I think that's the beauty of speaking to so many different talented designers like yourself. Everyone mindset different, but a lot of people are like, "Oh, I hate seeing you cut up my course early," and but you're saying that you use that as a learning tool. You're learning from that certain player's game style and how you could approach your next golf course.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, a lot of the better players too. I mean, they're driving the ball 360, 380 off the tee, and you know, when you see that, you're like, okay, then I need to kind of extend sort of the range on how I shape the fairways and everything. And, should I put a bunker that's 380 yards out? Because in real life, that's obviously not something you got to worry about unless you're designing a, PGA level course. But yeah, when you see people just like landing the ball in certain spots, then where you didn't put much thought into it, then it just kind of forces you to make those adjustments on your next design. So it's really helpful to watch people play the courses.
I think that's absolute class, by the way. That's such a good answer. So, the monster we're seeing here, then, Brian, what's the story this is telling here, then, that we're seeing in
Yeah,
this
so
hole
this
here?
is the sort of the kind of dark force that you're ultimately trying to defeat on this course, but you can kind of see how there's just no vegetation over there around the green.
Yeah,
That that's what the kind of power of this thing just destroys the land. And that I actually did do some research on. I looked up kind of like I did do a little research into samurai lore and found kind of like dragons that are on some of the, you know, antiques and stuff that come from that era. And so, I mean, that's another thing when you're taking on a course called the samurai, you don't want to, just pull everything out of your ass. You want to do proper research and make sure that you're designing something that's actually Japanese.
yeah, yeah. That's cool because when you do look over there, it's just like dark, nothing. Like you say, compared to the beautiful green vegetation it's grown around previous to it.
Yeah,
So yeah, that's such. It's really good having you telling the story here. It's so refreshing. That was a tough pin, by
yeah,
the way.
yeah. The screen's tough. The got a pretty big fall off there at the back. You really got to land the shot short. It's a good shot. Perfect.
Thanks, pal. Appreciate it. So, like I said a couple of holes ago, I've played a lot of your courses. We've showcased quite a few of them on the channel. They've went down well. But when I seen this Samurai, this course that we're playing here, I was like, wow, this is something completely different from Brian. Um, and I can see you evolving as a designer. But can you recall your very first course design on a computer game, and what game was it? Was it the Golf Club 2023? Because I can't recall you in any other previous 2K21 or the Golf Club 2019. So is this your first dive into the world of golf designing?
Yeah, I mean, I had the game, the Golf Club 2019, but I don't think I ever designed on it. And if I did, it was only like one or two courses. Um, and then when I think I saw someone video online playing a course, and I was like, oh man, that's something that I could do because designing golf courses is always something I've wanted to kind of do, but obviously not as sort of a career. So this is an awesome place to kind of do that.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
talk us. Sorry to interrupt you. Talk us through this whole here, Brian, because I have never seen anything like this. What I've seen here with the samurai standing off there in the distance. How did you achieve this look?
Yeah, so this hole was really cool. It was actually a last minute thing. I had a completely different hole on this. It was facing the other way. Um, and it just wasn't working. I just didn't like it. And so I had designed basically the rest of the course, and I couldn't figure out what I wanted here. But I really liked these like white dogwood trees, and then like with the purple flowers. So I kind of worked with that. And then one thing that I've kind of picked up on as of recent is when you have these hazy skies, you can sort of build these silhouettes, and it basically works like a canvas where I'm really limited in the foreground of what I can build with rocks and stuff. But when you have that kind of white background, it basically opens it up to where you can just build anything.
Yeah, and
And
like you
so,
say, the haziness of the sky really helps create this hole, in my opinion. The lighting.
yeah, I mean, having that basically allows me to kind of build whatever I want. Because, like for all the designers out there, they understand that, rocks can only be made so small. And so it's better to build on a bigger scale. Um, but when you kind of do that in the foreground, it just feels kind of cheesy. But when you can work against the canvas of the skyline, it just really adds to the sort of the theme and the feel of everything. And I've started to do that now with a lot of my designs, and that is not good. It's just fun to do, and it just adds to the feel of the course. And it's a lot of people ask me too, they're like, how in the world did you do that? And in real life I draw a lot. I paint sometimes too, and it's really all it is I'm just drawing with rocks.
Yeah, yeah, I
And
totally understand what you're explaining there. Yeah, so instead of using a paintbrush or a pencil, you're sculpting these paintings that you're classing them as with the rocks in the game.
yeah, exactly. I just, most of the time just use a photo as reference, and yeah, it's one by one rock, but I mean,
Yeah, and that must be so time consuming.
it can be, but I just find it fun, it's just another way to be kind of artistic, and
Yeah,
the challenge of it of kind of being like, is there anything that I can't design with rocks? And I'm sure there is, but
there's a
so,
challenge.
so yeah, it's the challenge. One day I'll come across something where I just cannot design, but no, it's just, I find it very therapeutical, and I'm sure a lot of other designers can relate to that.
Yeah, because
I'm a
you're
bit,
doing something you enjoy, something you love, isn't it? It doesn't feel like a chore.
yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm a pretty active person, so after a run or round of golf or something, I come home and just kind of crash, and it's just so nice to unwind and just do this. And even the planting, which can seem arduous, becomes kind of fun because even with like this tee box, it's like, okay, where can I put the color? Where do I put the rock? Like, how high should I build the walls? And
Yeah,
it just becomes kind of like you're just painting in this sort of like course creator.
yeah. So basically, the course designer mode is your canvas, really.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it doesn't feel like you're playing video games. It kind of just feels like you're doing a little bit some like art project.
Yeah. No, it's wonderful to get an insight into your thought process as it is with every designer. So, Brian, is there any designers' work who's influenced you in the game? Like, there's so many top designers out there. Is there a certain designer who you've seen his course or their course on a YouTube channel or something and thought, wow, that's really inspired me. I want to go and do something similar or use that as a um, creative juice to go and um, design your next masterpiece.
Yeah, I mean, there's obviously a lot of good designers out there that I really like. Arctic Fury was kind of the first designer whose course I played that wasn't my own. And, I really love the idea of the fact that he can create these really beautiful courses, but the golf is also realistic, and
Yeah,
you're not trying to hit a 10-yard wide fairway. And, and I get those courses are fun to play, but it's just kind of like not my cup of tea. I want to design something like realistic. So his courses were definitely something that I sort of inspired me, I guess you could say. And there's obviously a lot of good designers that are hit it. Oh,
Oh,
that make some really great golf courses, and it's funny because I design all these crazy thematic golf courses, but the ones that I do like to play are the more realistic courses. And uh, I think B101 is somebody who I've come across recently whose courses I really enjoy.
yeah, he's a good designer, and he also has a YouTube tutorial channel on designing, which I'm sure you've stumbled across.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, no, there's a lot of great designers out there. I think that's what's kind of fun is another reason I like to play their courses is because I don't want to copy anything. I don't want to, I want everything to feel like different. And so it's kind of fun to kind of play their courses, not just to like get inspiration, but also to see, um, how I can branch out in different ways.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
like
so
you
this
said,
hole is,
inspire you.
yeah, so this hole as well, I put a little island shortcut in it. I don't know if you can see that to the left
Yeah, yeah,
there.
I actually briefly looked at it. I just didn't fancy it. I wasn't
Yeah, and
brave
it's
enough.
there's a there's a sword on the island that you need to kind of defeat the samurai at the end. So the idea being that you need to go to that island to get it. But
Ah,
it is
cool.
a
So do you only
it
see the
is a
sword if
tough.
you land on that actual island?
Yeah. So
Wow,
it's a
man,
tough island to hit
I'll
though.
definitely be coming back to try that out because I'm in the water. I think you're joining me.
I'm a good cart partner. I always hit where my partner is.
Yeah, yeah. Where I go, you'll go.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so and then you'll see her again, our kind of young samurai as she's still searching for that flower
Yeah,
up
just
here in the
above the
waterfall.
waterfall there. Yeah.
Hopefully I can clear this mound.
Yeah, you'll
We're
need a
about to
lot of
find out.
loft. Oh, it's a great strike. Go. Get a nice kick.
Not bad.
No, good recovery. Good recovery. Certainly put the
Yeah,
pressure on me.
yeah, so she she's tough to design because it's always harder to design something that's like fully in the light. It's kind of being hit by the light because then there's not so much room for error.
Yeah, the light will highlight any designer mistake, won't it?
Yeah, because with those silhouettes, it's more of like an illusion. That's all you're really creating. But with something like her, it's you got to get everything right. Otherwise, it'll just what's the point,
Yeah,
Kick down there.
that should filter down. Stop.
Oh,
Yeah, that's a
man,
good
that was
shot.
fast.
Let's check that
Who made
though.
these greens so fast? Damn.
Yeah, who the hell designed this course, man? Those
It's
greens
actually
are
kind of,
slick.
yeah, it is interesting to come back and play a course of mine though.
So you're
'Cause-
actually learning at some par, by the way, after hitting the water. So you're
Yeah,
still
it was a good
actually
time.
learning, even though you designed this course. You're now playing it probably for the first time, you said, and you're seeing things you would have changed or things that
Oh
you'll
yeah.
look to implement in your new golf course.
Yeah, I mean, by the time you publish a course, you've probably play tested your course, 50 times or whatever. But still, it's like, it seems like what other people play it, there's more on the line as opposed to just kind of messing around in the course creator.
Yeah,
Because, yeah, you want to make sure that, like right there, like the landing zone, that's one of the things that you always kind of think about when you're designing is like, okay, if they land the ball here, where's the ball going to kick? Is there going to be a punishing slope, a helping slope, a bunker? How deep's the bunker going to be, and all that kind of stuff. So when you see people playing it for real and they get stuck in those situations and you know that what you built is working, it's great. But at the same time, there's always that thing where you're like, oh, I could have made that slope a little higher, or that bunker doesn't really need to be there, or maybe the lip needs to be higher to kind of force a layup and that kind of stuff. But yeah, that's why it's a really helpful tool to watch other people play your courses for sure.
Yeah, I kind of never really thought about designers watching players play their courses like that before, with that kind of particular mindset. It's really refreshing. So you're constantly evolving as a designer, basically, by watching um, players play your course.
Oh yeah, and even in like real life too is, a lot of the public courses you play are relatively simple designs, flat landing zones, not really a lot of false fronts, not really a lot of breaks on the green. So when you go and you play like a nicer designed course by like a really good designer, you can start to really see how they differentiate themselves as designers and, where they're trying to help the golfer and where they're trying to punish them.
Yeah, risk
And
reward.
that's something that's really cool about each new course you design is you can constantly kind of evolve and add those own things yourself.
Yeah, it's like I say, it's so fascinating to hear your thought process. And like I say, you're clearly a creative guy. But like I said, this is your first game um, as a golf designer that you've delved into. So you were a new designer once. So what would be your top three tips for new designers coming into golf course designing?
Good question. I think
What would
first and
you have liked to
foremost,
have known,
yeah, I
before you
mean,
design? What would be your best three things that you could pass on to a new designer? Something that you wish you knew right at the start of your designing history.
yeah, I mean, I think first and foremost, just know the game. Even if you don't play golf in real life, go out and play, and you can start to see how the ball works and how it, moves on the fairway on the green or what it's like hitting out of the rough and that kind of thing. Knowing that obviously is a big help. And then I think number two would be be ready to be patient because it does take a while.
Yeah.
It's not you can't just go into the designer and be done with a course in a couple days, which is funny because this course I actually designed in about 10 days.
See, I
Um,
find that remarkable.
yeah, I mean, it usually takes me about a month or so, but I had actually gotten back from a trip and I had the flu and I couldn't concentrate on work, so I ended up just doing this. And so with this course, yeah, it's like just kind of stuck inside with the flu, and this was kind of all I could concentrate on. And so courses typically don't come out that quickly. It's going to take a while. It's going to take a lot of patience, a lot of planting, a lot of shaping. There's all sorts of different steps. So I think another tip of mine would be to keep a notebook. I always kind of keep a notebook and just have a checklist of all the things you want to go through and make sure you do it, from everything from green shaping to planning to placing your out of bounds markers to, play testing. And that way you have like a more clear idea so that when you do finally publish the course, you can kind of know that you did everything you could. Because there's nothing worse than watching someone play your course and seeing stuff you missed, and you're like, oh, I forgot to put out of bounds there, or, I forgot
Yeah.
to shape this green, it's too flat in that spot.
Yeah. So you're basically saying write everything down so you can go over your just before you publish it with a fine comb. Really the finer
Ye-
details before you publish it.
Yeah, exactly. Like as you play test, just take notes and be like, oh, number one, the fairway needs to be shaped more, or the green on number 10 is, too punishing, or
I think guys will find that really helpful, Brian. So you were saying there, this course took you 10 days, but how? What are we speaking in hours? Is that like 10? Are we talking about 240 hours here, or is that?
Yeah, that's tough to say. I mean, I think if I had to guess how many hours this course took, it'd probably be about maybe like 50. I should really time myself one of these days to see how long
Yeah,
it kind of works on it, but because I
because you.
usually design about 4 or 5 courses at once, and then
Wow.
once one is done, the next one, then the wings is already at least halfway done. So
So do you, so you're saying you've got 4 or 5 courses on the go at the same time. Do you not get distracted? Can you get like courses mixed up and things like that, or is that doesn't happen due to your method of design? And like you say, you note everything down, you pre-plan everything, so that doesn't
yeah,
happen.
I think it all started just to kind of avoid burnout because there was about like a 3 month span where I don't think I turned the game on. Oh, that's gonna go in. Get in.
Oh, there we go. There's a
Oh
first.
man,
That could well be
you
the first
saved
hole
it
in one on the samurai.
just for me.
There we go. That one's
Beautiful.
dedicated to Bbusbri08.
Oh, that was amazing.
Thanks. I couldn't have hit it any better either, mate. My end. That just absolutely flushed it.
Oh, so now I got a match. What should I go, driver? Yes.
I think I hit 9 iron there, maybe 8 iron. I can't recall. I think it was 8 iron. One
Oh
five four.
man,
Hit it clean though. I
imagine
knew.
having this shot in real life when you got to ace a hole just to square the
Yeah.
hole.
Just imagine playing this course in real life, man.
Oh, that's not.
Unlucky, buddy.
Yeah, I went with the safe shot. Very strategic there.
Yeah, yeah. Center of the green.
Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, I just was like getting burnt out and I didn't design courses for about 3 months. And then when I came back to it, I kind of noticed that if I have a bunch of different courses going on at once, I can kind of jump back and forth and design without getting, kind of burnt out and still
Wow,
find the
that's
joy
yeah.
that,
Yeah, I totally understand your thinking of that, your concept behind it. Yeah, so that's incredible. And a lot of people aren't going to believe me when we divulge this information, but tell everyone what console you're designing on, Brian.
ooh, as I shanked that. I'm on a PS4, going old school.
That's
Yeah.
incredible, mate.
I
That
would
is
design on a
absolutely
PS3,
incredible.
but it won't let me. But yeah,
Yeah,
no, it's I mean, I can't imagine it's too different than the PS5. I think the PS5, the graphics are a little bit better, but
yeah. I think probably quicker as well. The processor probably, probably the tools are maybe more fluent to use.
yeah. But in a weird kind of way, it might actually work into my favor in that the choruses end up popping more and look better on the PS5. So it's
Ah,
kind of
of
forces
course.
me to be like even better with,
Yeah, yeah. I never really thought of it as like that. To be fair.
yeah. So if 2K comes across this, they can send me a PS5 and that'd be cool.
Yeah, stranger things have happened, pal. Yeah. If there's anyone out there who would like to sponsor Brian for a PS5, please reach out to the channel and see what we can do for him. But speaking about
Yeah.
2K, Brian, obviously there's rumours of 2K25 coming out in March or next year. Nothing confirmed concrete yet, but what improvements and new features to the designer mode would you like to see in PGA Tour 2K25?
Ooh, there's a lot. I mean, obviously I'm not too privy to like the logistics of, what kind of goes into the course creator from 2K's perspective or HB Studios, but I mean, for me, the thing that I wish I had access to was just kind of more building block sort of things. and let's see if we can make a putt here.
As in
Um,
a more variety of building blocks.
yeah, exactly, because I mean, you run into like a lot of limitations with what you can and cannot build, and I'm sure that's more of a problem for someone like me that's building giant samurai, but
Yeah, out of rocks.
yeah, yeah. But just building wise, I wish there was like a Mediterranean theme. I wish sort of more variety with houses and things like that you can just sort of be kind of creative with. Even with like the trees, I would love to see some like cherry blossoms and just some more color that you can kind of work with.
Yeah.
Um, but then
Uh,
also, I mean, anybody who's tried to design something like in the sky, it's the camera can be a really pain in the butt to kind of work with, and because the camera always wants to stay on the ground level. So if you start to design something like way up in the air, then you run into a lot of camera problems, and then it becomes a place a rock, zoom way out, see if it works, zoom back in, place a rock, zoom way out, and that can become a little tedious for sure.
yeah. So talk us through this hole here, Brian, because I absolutely love this frosted grass.
Yeah, so this whole, you'll see our samurai again at the end here. She's up there with the flower. She's still kind of going all around Japan trying to find where this flower matches so that she can find this samurai. And the tea box actually came from a photo when I was just kind of scrolling through sort of Japanese art. And I came across this painting where like everything was white, the ground, the trees, and I just loved how that looked. So I wanted to just incorporate that somehow, and it ended up being this tee box. And I've just hit it into a place that I've never went during play testing, so
There you go. You've got a gap between the
fi
trees.
finally get to try it out. Yeah, so that's what the whole idea with this kind of hole was to just a lot of color, a lot of different color pops, but that white kind of dogwood tree that you see a lot placed out through here is a really great kind of tree to work with.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's
So
see if I can
this
punch this through
story
here.
that you're talking about, Brian, is it something you've written in real life or read?
No, it was just kind of something I came up with on the spot. Um, like I said, I had designed, I think the course that I'd published before this was, oh man, can't remember what it was, but it was something based on, there we go,
Ricochet.
just like I drew it up. Um, yeah, so when I decided to do a course that wasn't based on anything, it was kind of a freedom to just kind of do my own thing that wasn't always the plan either. It was just going to be a Japanese themed course, and that relatively quickly it just became like, why don't I tell my own story throughout? Like
Yeah,
I said, it was more for me just to help kind of build the course, but
yeah,
if it was something that anybody else picked up on, then that's just like a nice little bonus.
yeah. I just love the colours you've got going on this golf course. It's absolutely outstanding. It really, really is.
Yeah,
Really catches the eye.
yeah, again, that's one of the things that like limits you, like when you're building like a Star Wars course, you can't just put in a ton of random trees, otherwise that takes away from
Yeah, of course.
the feeling that you're trying to capture. So with this, when there's just freedom to just go crazy with my planting and everything, it was kind of like a nice change of pace.
And talking about changes of paces, what are your designing plans for the future, Brian?
Yeah, well,
I'm
it's kind of
sure you've got a
interesting
masterpiece
because,
in the background of you.
yeah, yeah, I mean, with the announcement of 2K25, it's kind of like, how much do I design?
Yeah,
Because I'm sure when that comes out, hopefully it'll have a lot more design tools at the ready and available for us. But I do have 4 courses that I'm currently working on that I will probably publish before 2K25 comes out just because I've already started them. So
Yeah.
those will probably be the last 4 I do for 2K23. But a couple are based off of familiar stuff, and then one of them is another course like this that's just completely original.
Well, I, for one, and I'm sure all the viewers here will be buzzing to play those 4 courses. But feel
Crush that
free
tee
to
shot.
talk us through the closing holes here, Brian, and what your thought process was on these holes, because I would love to get some more insight on this golf course.
Yeah, I think so. This hole, I really love the green on this course, or the on this hole right here. Um, it actually started out as like a relatively just hilly kind of empty area, and once those rocks kind of went in for the hole next to it, I kind of created this little bit of an amphitheater that put a little bit of water in and put a village in and made it kind of like a little island. And then it's got a nice little 2-tier green. Um, Not too big a green either. That's one of the things when I play a lot of other people's courses, you'll see some greens that are just massive.
Yeah,
And if you worked in the designer, you understand how easy it is to do that because you build a green and it seems relatively small from the higher angle that you're from, but then when you play test it, you realize it's huge. Um, and so that's just another thing you got to be like weary of. Mine is, oh, don't drive too
try
hard.
to play the backstop there, did you?
Yep, and then I just cooked it. See all these things I designed for to help the golfers, I'm just missing. But
Is that a bonsai tree that we're seeing to the right of the green there, Brian?
yeah, so there's no bonsai trees. Those are oak trees that come in the game that I think are kind of like reminiscent of sort of trees you might find at Torrey Pines.
Yeah,
Um, so it's not quite a bonsai tree, but there's some oak trees in the game that I think they came out with the Asian expansion pack.
yeah, it kind of looked like a bonsai. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and those are really cool to help capture the atmosphere here. Oh
I'm
man,
not
this
sure if
putt's
you've
getting.
heard of the designer Chris Z. He done a golf course called Suzuki or Suzaka, Japan, and I see slight resemblances between this golf course and his, which is quite refreshing.
Yeah, I haven't played it. I'll have to check it out.
Yeah,
But
you'll have to
yeah, I
check
think
that
those.
out. Yeah, he's a really good designer. He's not got many golf courses out there, but the courses he does have are like they've got that wow factor, in my opinion. You know.
Yeah, I mean, I've played a couple. I played one that was, I think it was called like Suzuki North or West or something like that.
All right. Okay.
You know what I'm talking about, where there's like a big city in the background. But
Yeah. So what
and
about
then
this
this
hole
hole
here
was
then, Brian?
just,
Because this is it's a hand, isn't it? Really, the green's located on a hand.
yeah, I don't know where that idea came from. I just think I wanted to put a drivable par four here,
And
and
can you
just
hold
somewhere in
this
the
green?
process of,
Do you reckon you can hold this green?
you definitely can if you loft a driver up there.
Not with that swing. I might get a
Yeah, you might
ricochet
get a
off the
good
finger
bounce.
here. No,
Oh,
splash. I'll take another shot at that one.
go
But
for it.
yeah,
I
sorry.
mean, you've already
So,
got a hole in one, so
yeah, true. So, yeah, sorry. So, talk us through this whole here, Brian. I think I interrupted you with the green palm.
oh, no worries. Yeah, I mean, so this was just part of the story too, where this is actually the girl's father that kind of inspired this hole, and he's kind of the idea would be that when you reach the green, he's kind of having this sort of, existential sort of experience, talking to his daughter, like, are you sure you want to go through with it? That's where that kind of idea came from. And then at first it was just the face, and then I was like, well, might as well put the hand and see if that works. And I just literally just put out my own hand and just like a sculptor would do, just kind of model it after that. Let's see if I can hit this green.
Sounded good. Get down. Get down. Get down. Get down.
Don't hit
Get down. Get
it.
down. Yeah, great golf shot,
There
mate.
we go.
There we go. The proof is in the pudding.
I don't think I even did that in my play testing. But yeah, it was. Then it's also one of those holes too where I designed where I was like, I don't know if people will like this or not, but we'll see.
Yeah, I'll
But
have one more go at this. I wanted to give you some coins.
yeah, I'm here to be charitable today. Apparently, I want to give away my
That is a horrible swing line, and it's going to probably work out.
good shot.
Yeah, there we go. Only took 3 attempts with 6 strokes, but we're there.
Yeah,
But yeah, so the face is in the with the water cascading down it, isn't it? Above that pin there. Is that the face? It's on
yeah,
this hole. Yeah.
yeah. That was just another thing where I just one of those things where just playing around with the hole and seeing what works, and I just put those waterfalls in as tears because kind of fit the story, and
Tears. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
it's sort of a weeping father kind of thing. But and
So you
it's
have the
funny
honor
because
here on the 17th,
yeah,
and what a
a
hole
lot of
this is,
people.
by the way.
Yeah, this was fun to draw to. Here's that same kind of dragon that you see earlier on, and that's how you know you're getting close.
And is this swords? It's in this rock.
Yeah, so that's supposed to be her again. She's kneeling and she's actually found the flower and she's discovered that it's actually a red flower she was looking for the whole time
Oh wow,
and not a white flower because the white flower is only white because that's where the dragon had burned the land.
wow, man, that is just incredible. I
Yeah,
didn't
so
realize that that was the lady when I played this. I just thought it was like the. I was thinking the stone in this. What's that? There's a Disney film, The Stone and
oh,
the
the
Sword or
sword and the
something.
stone.
Sword and the
Yeah,
Stone. Yeah, I just thought it
yeah.
was something along those lines. But now you've explained it to us that
Well,
this
it's
is a
kind of funny
story.
that you say the sword and the stone because speaking of Arthurian legend, that's kind of what my next course that's like this is kind of based on. Is just kind of like a fantasy kingdom type course.
Wow, there you go. Because
So
am I right in saying you've done a Disney course as well? Was that you?
I have, yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I've not showcased that one, but yeah.
yeah, that one. I don't, have you played it? Because that one I
No, I've not.
literally built, yeah, I built all the Disney characters out of rocks and stuff, and
I'll definitely have to check that out because like I say, your rock work is just spectacular. I've never seen
yeah,
nothing like it, and obviously you don't want to give away your secrets, but your creativity with the using the rocks is just out of this world. It really, really is.
yeah, it's one of those things where I'm like, oh, I'm gonna build this crazy dragon over this green, and then like 2 seconds into it, I'm like, why did I do this?
Yeah, yeah.
But then I'm like kind of a perfectionist, so I'm like, I gotta do it, and it has to look exactly like,
How you've
what I got in my
imagined it, how you've
mind.
drawn it out. Yeah,
Yeah. And that's like with designing like the Star Wars course and the course and just anything that's like based off of something. It's like I said before, that's kind of the fun challenge, trying to make it look exactly like that. But
yeah. I think that was your
there is a,
first course I stumbled across was the Star Wars one. I'm sure of it.
oh yeah,
and then
Yeah.
the plays went viral, mate, due to me showcasing it.
Yeah.
If you believe that, you'll believe anything.
Yeah. I think Hogwarts is the most played course I have.
Yeah, I think
Um,
we've covered that one as well. Yeah, the Harry Potter.
yeah, and that one was pretty early on actually, when I was still kind of like,
Sussing out the
figuring out.
designer, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I say, you've definitely evolved. I've seen it, you know, I've seen how much you've improved course by course from your first course to where we currently are here with the Samurai, and what a closing hole as well. Talk
Yeah,
us
and
about this one, Brian.
so yeah, the 18th I just wanted to be like a really intimidating par three with the samurai in the background, obviously, and there on the hillside you can see the red flower that she had been looking for the whole time, and
Yeah, that's
that's
very
what kind
prominent
of,
as well, isn't it? The size of it and the colour really
yeah.
catches your eye.
And so I just kind of wanted it to be feel like you're kind of about to take on the samurai in a duel.
Can we
It's
finish
like,
with a hole in one?
ooh, I'd love that. I
Surely
mean,
this
we already
kicks
got one on the
left.
card.
Surely it kicks left. Come on, baby.
Let me go to that back tier.
Yeah.
I had already forgotten how many clubs I needed to go down.
Ha. It's a 208. There is a
I mean, if
helping
you can
slope.
get two hole-in-ones on this course, I think this might be your course to own.
Yeah, man. I mean, I would love it. I try my best. It's going to be extremely hard, but I'll definitely give
Oh,
it my
do
best
it.
shot.
Do it. Just
Nah,
dunk
it's
it. Hit
too
it.
long.
Uh,
Too long. I had a tiny fast there.
I was kind of hoping it'd get the flag, but I don't think the physics are
Yeah,
there.
that. No, I don't. Yeah, I think it would have kicked all the way off somewhere. I would have loved it. At least we've got one hole in one. But like I say,
Well, it's
Brian,
fun.
the main thing here was getting inside your brain, and you're such a classy guy, mate. I can't thank you enough for coming on the channel and speaking to us, because you just your creativity just comes out of you, and knowing now that you're an author and you're involved in film, everything kind of makes sense now, and we can see that with your designs that you've created for us to enjoy.
Yeah, no, appreciate that for sure, and happy to come on and get in around and kind of let you know the process. And I mean, yeah, I mean, I want to create fun courses that are realistic, but at the same time, they kind of transport you to another place, and that's really
Yeah,
kind of what I'm going for, and
you certainly
seems to
achieve
be
it.
working. Yeah,
You certainly achieve it, and like I say, we cannot wait for your next masterpiece. Have you got a time scale for that, Brian?
yeah, I'm getting close. I just started like the planning and the kind of decorating and everything, and I can even give you the name now. Why not? To all who watch, they can know.
Yeah, give us an exclusive, mate.
Yeah, it's called The Wizarding World,
The
and
Wizarding
it's
World.
basically a sequel to my Hogwarts course, but now it's kind of everything else in the Harry Potter world.
Yeah,
And then after that, I am going to do the prequel Star Wars films that everybody's been asking for. So
yeah, that would be incredible. That would be
yeah,
awesome. So there you
and
go,
then I'll have
guys. Get out there, play the Harry Potter one, because the prequel's coming out, and we're getting some more Star Wars courses from Brian. And sorry, Brian, I think I just cut you off there. What were you trying to say there before I rudely interrupted you?
yeah, no, no worries at all. I'll have another course like this, kind of in the same sort of theme as the Samurai out as well before 2K25. So
Well, I can assure
I'll
you,
still make them.
we can't wait to showcase it on the channel. But that is it from Brian, guys, aka Bbusbri08, an absolute gentleman, very creative, talented, fantasy themed designer, and we cannot thank him enough for coming on the channel to speak to us.